Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another video of ours. This time it's the first division prediction video for the season. I'll go through all 9 teams. Yes, there's 9 teams in the division this year. I'll start from 9th, work my way up to first. I found this one very difficult, I'll be honest. I think it's going to be a very tight division. I think the depth is very strong in the division. I don't think there's what you would call a whipping boy in the league this year. And just remember, this is my opinion, guys. So if you disagree, that's fine. And look, it's unlikely I'm going to get all these right, particularly the first division. It can be a difficult one. But a lot of interesting things going on at a lot of clubs this season. Also, guys, thanks a million for watching. Anyone who watches the channel and stays with the channel, it's much appreciated. So thanks for watching. And if you're new, please subscribe. I'm starting off in 9th place with Atlongtown. Now, Atlongtown had an interesting season last year. Adrian Carby was the manager. But then he moved on, obviously, and Paul Doolan came into the club. They brought in a lot of players. A lot of those players they brought in have actually left the club. The likes of James Doonas, Curtis Byrne, Adam Wickstead, and players like that. Who else? Connor Barry and players like that. Connor Barry was there on loan, to be fair, but they haven't brought in too many officially at the moment. Daniel Dobbins come in. Success Udogan has come in and Andrew Spain has come in. Now, I believe Thomas Olua will be coming in as well, and there's probably other players coming into the club, but I have to pick them 9th because I don't know where they are, if I'm honest with you. I don't know where they are. I'm more confident where the other clubs are in the league at this minute in time. Martin Russell's obviously the new manager there. Great respect for Martin. He's a great man. Loved him as a player. Remember him as a player, St. Patrick's League in particular. Very good technically. Good manager too. But I'm not really sure what direction they're going in this season. It's hard to tell. Have they got the funds they had last season? If they do, they're leaving things very, very late. As I said, they probably have players signed up in the background, to be honest. But it's a difficult one. It really is a difficult one. And they could finish higher, as I said, than expected. But again, there's no weak team in the league. Even at that, I don't think they're weak. I just think they could be weaker than last year. But look, I've gone for Atlongtown in 9th place. In 8th place, I've gone for Cove Ramblers. Now, I went for them to finish lowly last year as well. But actually, I think their squad is stronger this year. The issue is that I think most other squads have got stronger too. I think Whitmarsh is a great re-signing, so to speak. Obviously, he was there before, but they brought him in from Cork. I think he's an excellent signing. They brought back Brandon Frail, Luke Desmond, the likes of Cardbow from Cork, Sean McGrath from Cork, Dale Holland, another excellent signing as well. They have lost Lyons though. I think Charlie Lyons is a big loss to them. I think he's a very, very good player. But again, I do think they'll be competitive. I think they'll be strong and they'll be stronger this year. And behind the scenes, they do great work, the community work, the sponsorships they have in at the club as well. It's fantastic. They released a fantastic book recently too, about the history of the club. And for them, I think it's a case of, keep things going, don't overspend. And they have their own community club. It's fantastic. If they finish higher, fantastic. But I do have them personally in 8th place. Now, 7th, I've gone for Wexford. I think they've upgraded significantly this season. Ian Ryan came in last season, young coach from UCD. Big fan of Ian Ryan. Very interested to see how he'll do in a full season this season. And he's brought some good players in. The experience of Danny Corcoran, it's an if he can keep him fit, and it is a big if, I get that, but his experience around the dressing room should be valuable. Connor Davis, Aidan Frail, Connor Barry, Len O'Sullivan, youngster from Bowes, Joe Manley, and Aaron Dobbs. Paul Hunt has come in, Adam Wells along from Rovers, one to watch, Mitchell Byrne, Jordan Talon, Luka Lovic, another one. Alex Moody. I've actually literally went through all their signings there. Luka Lovic as well is another one to watch. So the standard of player Wexford have brought in is higher than the last couple of years. They do have some good players there, as I said before, very good young players there. But then they have a mix, I think. There's experienced players coming in and players of quality, to be honest, coming into the club as well. They have lost Jimmy Corcoran to Cork City. But I think Wexford are set for a good season. Could they finish higher? Potentially they could finish higher. Yeah, I do think, again, some of the teams higher just have the squads, I think, overall, maybe. But again, a bit like Cove, like, you know, in terms of looking after the club and hopefully building on a long-term scale. Yeah, I've gone for Longford. I've gone for Wexford in 7th place. You're gonna have to excuse me today, guys. Sorry. In 6th place, and this might be controversial. I've gone for Longford Town. Obviously, they had a difficult season last year in the Prem after coming up. And Gary Cronin's now the new manager. And now he has brought a lot of friends with him from Bray, the likes of Ryan Graydon, who's a good player, Sam Verdon, Dylan Barnett, Darren Craven, Daniel Jones. These are good players, but he's also brought in the likes of Eric Malloy from Shelburne as well. So they have good players. They've brought in good players. They've lost some key players too. Arno Driscoll last year and Dave Dervin as well. So they have lost some key players. Obviously Rob Manley as well. Joe Manley, another one. Dylan Grimes. So when you go through the list, Dean Williams was on loan. He's gone. Paddy Kirk is gone. That's a lot of good players left the club, to be honest with you. Now, they have signed on a lot of good players as well that they kept from last year. But I just think it might be a year of transition a little bit for Longford. Easily make the playoffs. They could easily make the playoffs. And when I say 6th, I think from 2nd to 6th could be very, very tight. I mean, very tight. There might be no more than 10 points between 2nd and 6th. But yeah, that's where I have Longford Town, guys. Let me know what you think about that one. Now, 5th. This might be a little controversial as well, to be honest. I've gone for Bray Wanderers. Now, obviously, Bray Wanderers and Cabinteely have come together. Now, you could argue they've got the best players from Cabinteely and obviously brought in players, etc. as well. So that should flesh out their squad. Hugh Douglas is an excellent signing for me. And Rob Manley is a very good signing as well. He linked up well with, when Devlin had him at Cabinteely, linked up well with Kieran Marty Waters, who's also joined the club. But look, they brought in a host of players from Cabinteely as well. The likes of Labouche has come in. I like him. Callum Thompson now is officially at the club. Stephen McGuinness will be their goalkeeper. The likes of Daniel Blackburn have come in, and Dean Zambra, Owen McPhillips, arguably Cabinteely's best player last season. So that's just to name a few players that they've brought in. They've obviously lost the likes of Brian Marr, Graydon, and players like that, and Dylan Barnett. But I just think they've also re-signed Darren Lynch, who's one to watch this season, Connor Clifford, Sean Callan. I just think, again, a little bit, I think like Longford, I think there's a little bit of a transition and starting fresh, I think. And as I said, Bray could easily finish higher in the league, and there won't be much between the teams in the playoffs. And by the way, anyone in the playoffs could get through. That's the other side of it as well. But I just sense that there's going to be a lot of working out at Bray this year in terms of maybe getting the fit right, getting the right players in to the right system, etc., etc., etc. But they are strong. And this is the point I'm making in many ways. I think the first division is very strong this year. It's great to see a strong first division. It was strong last year. I believe it's stronger this year. But I do have Bray in 5th place. And as I said, might be controversial. They could finish anywhere in the playoffs. I'd be shocked if they finish outside the playoffs. A lot of people might be shocked if Longford finish outside the playoffs. And that's fair enough too, though. Excuse me again. In 4th place, I've got Treaty United. Treaty were fantastic last year. They really were. And I think a lot of people are going to expect them to finish lower this year as a result. You know, Tommy Barrett came in, really got a team going together that gelled together, that were tough to beat, that were dogged, but could play a bit too. Max Sweeney's a loss to them, though. He's gone to Shelburne this season, so he's a loss. But they brought in the likes of Jack Brady from Shelburne, Denzel Fernandez as well, very good player. Enda Curran is back in the League of Ireland, great to see. Joe Corman has come in, and players like that. And they haven't lost too many. I know they've lost McSweeney and Ty Ryan is gone, but they haven't lost too many players, which is fantastic as well. And re-signed an awful lot of players like Jack Lynch and Mark Ludden and players like that. I just think it will continue. I really do. I think whereas they may not be as strong individually, maybe as a Bray or Longford, I just think they're settled. They're settled units. They're a settled club. I don't see too much change, and I don't see a fall off from last year. They could finish fifth, you know what I mean? But they could actually finish higher as well. I honestly think they'll finish in the playoffs, and it's great to see a team from Limerick obviously back in the league and actually doing very well. And not going beyond their means, but having a real, you know, you don't know exactly the ins and outs that goes on, but from the outside looking in, they look like they could have a cohesive plan going forward as well. So, yeah, very impressed with Treaty in general, and I think they will finish fourth. And third, it's a big season for them, and I think the pressure will be on Colin Healy. I've got for Cork City, obviously, but I do think the pressure will be on Colin Healy more this season. It wasn't a good season last season for them. They had a lot of young players. They came down. You could argue they were in transition. They have to kick on this season. If they don't finish in the playoffs, not good enough for Cork City. And they brought in some good players. Ali Gilchrist from Shelburne was fantastic last season, probably the best centre half in the first division. Like to Jimmy Corcoran, good young keeper. Kevin O'Connor is back at the club. Rory Keating, Barry Coffey, big one back at loan. Corey Chambers has come in from Cove. They have lost some players, experienced players at that as well. Stephen Beattie and Gerard Morrissey in particular could be losses. Carl Heffernan, by the way, has gone to Milan, but they've a lot of good players at the club as well. Obviously, you know, I think that can kick on this year, like Keane Murphy, Keane Bardry, Keane Coleman, very good player. Aaron Bulger, Jonas Hakkinen, you know, Dylan McGlade, Alec Byrne, I think. Mark O'Mahony, a youngster to watch as well. He may not play all the games, but he's a youngster to watch as well. Unfortunately, Gord Walker got a bad injury, so he's going to be out for a long time. But the pressure will be on them this season, and playing for Cork City, I think, in the first division in particular, it's probably exacerbated even more, to be honest with you. But, you know, they're a team that could finish out for like the playoffs, in my honest opinion. Like Longford, for example, could get in ahead of them, no problem. But I just feel that there's got to be a focus this year at Cork City, and you know, I hope it goes well for Colin Healy, because I think if they struggle early doors, the pressure will come on them. But I've gone for them to finish in third place. Now, second place, and I don't know what they'll think of this if they finish second, because obviously they finished second last year, Galway United, and didn't actually get up. And as I say, anyone can get up in the playoffs, but I don't think they've enough in them to finish top. Obviously, John Caulfield, very good manager, knows what he's doing. They started badly last year and it cost them. I think they're going to be very focused on starting at least semi-decent this year. They were, like last year, I'd say after 6-7 matches, they were already 10 points off the pace, as far as I remember. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but they brought in some good players again. Jordan Adeyemo's come in from Drogheda United. Charlie Lyons, I think, is a good player for Cove, a defender I really, really like. Young Oisin O'Reilly from Athlone. Again, haven't lost too many, and they've re-signed the likes of Francis Lamboto with a bad injury last year. He's going to add to them this year. The likes of Walsh and Hurley, you know, Conor McCormick all re-signed, Alex Murphy, Ronan Manning, Wareru. So they've made a lot of good re-signings. They didn't have to do an awful lot, I feel. But to finish top, they probably did have to do more. But we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I see them in second place. I see them closer this season for the whole season, though. I don't see them as a threat of falling out of the playoffs. Some of the other teams possibly could. I don't see it with Galway. I think they're certain to finish second. Can they win it? They could, but we'll get on to the next team in a minute. So obviously, I've gone for Waterford FC as my champions at the end of the season. And, you know, Waterford fans will know that things can implode within that club. And that can always give other sides an opportunity. But I seem to be suggesting that it needs an implosion for them not to win the league, though. And yeah, I think it does. I think, look, they were technically too good to go down last year. I think if they were in the Premier Division this year, personally, I think the Premier would be stronger. But they imploded, basically. Off the field, mainly. They imploded. That's the big thing. And that leads onto the pitch. So they shot themselves in the foot big time. They'll hope not to do that this year. I think the new owner, Forrest, has a lot of making up to do as well. And look, he's done the right things this year. He's brought in Ian Morris, very good manager, Ian Morris. And has proven that at this level as well by winning 2 league titles with Shelburne. So he's got someone with a bit of experience there. They've kept an awful lot of players that most teams that go down probably won't keep. The likes of Junior, Phoenix Patterson, Keane Kavanagh, Brian Murphy, Derek Power. So they've a good mix there. Eddie Nolan resigned as well, so that experience as well. And they're young players like their Nigel Keeves, and as I mentioned before, there Derek Power, and players like that Shane Griffin. But some of the players they brought in are impressive as well. Yazin N. Naya is a very, very good player. He's going to be a player that is going to excite the fans. He's come in for Shamrock. Killian Campbell from Athlone, very good signing. Very, very good defender. Hearing good things about Richard Taylor as well. And Louis Britton has come in, a striker who was on trial at Derry City and got a couple of goals in pre-season. So you'd imagine at that level would be good. They've only really lost John Martin, who's a very good player. But if you had told Waterford fans that that's pretty much all you'd lose. Wordsworth was another one who signed back on. But if you told, Waterford fans John Martin was the only one you were going to lose, pretty much, I think they would take that. So they have a very, very, very good squad going into the season. A squad that I feel is arguably too good for the first division. And they have a manager as well who is young, so he can get better, but at the same time is very inexperienced at winning at this level. So I think Waterford are going to win the league. I'd be very surprised if they didn't. As I said, only an implosion could cost them, and they'll be, I'd be confident that won't happen this season, to be fair. I just feel it's stabilised a little bit. Ironically, they might be in the first division, but they've kept actually their squad intact more so than they have in recent years, and I think their manager is very good, and it was a very good choice. So guys, we'll leave it there. That's my league table. Let me know what you think. Waterford first, Galway second, Cork City third. In fourth, I went for Treaty. Fifth, Bray. Sixth, Longford Town. Seventh, Wexford FC. Eighth, Cove Ramblers. And ninth, Atlongtown. It's a very strong league this year. Really looking forward to it. Some of those teams could easily be jumping up. I have a feeling that out of the predictions I've made in recent years in the first division, that this was probably the hardest one to do. So let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Hit your bell notification button so you're notified of all the uploads we do. I'll have a couple of first division previews, individual previews like Waterford SC, Cork. I won't get around to them all, to be honest. And I'm hoping to get Bray in as well. Something to get Galway in, but I don't actually have someone to do a Galway preview. Unless somebody wants to, in the comments, wants to do one, let me know. We're on Facebook as well, Irish Footy Vlogs, and Instagram. Check that out. Once again, thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy your day. Thank you.